Oh my goodness, yeah. Like toasted almond right up front, toasted vanilla.
What?
The cigar. Mm-hmm. It's fantastic. Oh my goodness.
All right, Adam, tell us what we're smoking here.
What's up, everybody? No, that's not what I say. What's going on, everybody? There it is.
It doesn't matter. You say what you want.
It matters. Consistency.
Anal. I was saying
This episode's going way different than I thought.
Can we have a fresh start?
No, I was saying you're anal.
Yeah, it just doesn't sound right.
I forgot the your though.
Anal.
Just fucking yelling anal in my ear. What the hell's wrong with you?
All right, I petition that we cut all of this out. And
I
we
don't. Actually, it's very funny. I probably will. Otherwise, it's just be a series of bleeps.
Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? We are the Bourbonists. We have...
I thought you said it matters. Consistency matters.
We have...
Joseph?
Adam.
And Dan.
Oh, welcome back to the table. We are...
The Bourbonists.
Yeah. No, this is a fantastic cigar. Dude, Matt, I'm not kissing ass, dude. There's not a bad Room 101 cigar. There's not, dude.
If there is, we haven't had it.
This is the Ichiban. This is the throwaway tobacco from Matt Booth's collection, and it is I bought 20 of these for $16.
I think Matt is one of the few guys that can go into a job interview and they say, "What are your three weaknesses?" You think, and he could say, "I don't have any. My greatest weakness is I'm perfect.
My greatest weakness is I have no weaknesses.
I'm sexy, I'm well-rounded, and I make perfect cigars."
I'm sorry.
Is there anything else you need?
And apparently he makes gin too.
He does. We need some Room 101 gin. Maddie, we can't find it here in Missouri. Please send us some. I will Venmo you or something.
Make it happen.
Please.
But this is fantastic.
But also, yes, make it happen. This is,
Every single one of his cigars. Burn is great. Smoke is great. The ash is strong. Even if it's a subtle cigar, it's rich in its simplicity.
This
one, there is a complexity to it.
Yeah.
There's that cream.
Toasted vanilla.
Toasted almond as well. There's a hint of like buttery bread.
Yeah.
Well done.
This is the Ichiban, Connecticut, and it's so fantastic. Oh, man. I hope we pair it well with the Southern Star Paragon single barrel. It's a cast strength wheated whiskey.
Should go well.
Should. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, you genital.
And for our Lenten water drinkers.
Yeah.
There you go, buddy.
Thank you. So today we thought it'd be fun to share some dating stories. Lessons learned. And
I'll start off with a banger. Dated a girl in high school once. We dated for a few weeks. I mean a few weeks, because that's what high school is. And I called her one day, and I was like, all right, so...
I love you.
No. I made that mistake, too. Not with her. But called her one day, and I was like, so when are we getting together again? Like, do you want to go out to eat or go see a movie, whatever? And she literally said, I don't think this is going to work out. I was like, nothing went wrong. Like, we didn't do anything, whatever. And she was like, I'd rather be alone than be with you. I was like, wow.
Are we supposed to, is this funny?
No.
It's supposed to be lighthearted.
I think it's funny.
I feel like I want to cry for you. Adam, you poor guy, you sad sob.
No, that was, maybe that wasn't the right thing to start.
I thought you were about to say, that was freshman year.
So, the only girl that I ever met on a dating website, we finally set a time to meet up, and it was downtown St. Louis, and she lived in Illinois. And I did not realize how hard it is to find parking downtown. And I kept her waiting for like 45 minutes because I could not find a parking spot. And I was texting her updates like, I'm really sorry, I'm trying to find a spot. I'm really sorry, I'm still looking.
She looks up your GPS and you're still at home.
And so I walk into the restaurant and she's not there. She had left.
She just texts back, sorry, looking for parking.
She's like, I don't know if this is gonna work. And so, I text her. I'm like, I am so sorry. I'm here now. I finally got a parking spot. I don't blame you if you don't want to come back, but I'd love to buy you a meal. And so she did come back, and we I think the date was like an hour and a half long, and that was the last time I saw her. There was nothing. I mean, it was
Still looking for parking, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah, right. Women drivers. But anyways,
Got 'em.
it was all meant to be.
Oh man, I'm trying to think of like dating stories that aren't vulgar. That doesn't make me sound good at all.
I was going to
Not
say, that
one
could,
bit.
that could be,
No, that's not.
that
all
could be
right.
coming and going
I'm not going to cut
anywhere.
that out, but please understand that I just had a poor choice of words.
As Hillary Clinton would say, I might have temporarily malfunctioned. That was Adam.
I did.
You old Clinton, you.
No, don't you associate me with them psychopaths.
No, I was going to say you pulled a
Yes, I
Biden.
know we have cigars, but we don't use them for sex.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
There's a
Whoa.
great episode of right during the like Monica Lewinsky stuff in
Yeah.
the 90s. There's a great episode of Whose Line Is It Anyway? And you ever seen Scenes from Hat where they draw like a thing and they're like, hey, you should like act out what this thing is.
I've seen
and
stuff
then you
like
do
that, yeah.
improv and whatever. And the scene was presidential turn on lines. Like presidential, like come on lines or whatever. He got up there and he goes, "I've got a cigar."
Did Bill say something about a cigar?
No, he used the cigar to
Oh, okay, all right. Well,
do some stuff. So
that's
he's
He
a weird
didn't,
dude.
that is
smoke it.
that
It
is
is-
that
I
is
know.
sacrilegious.
I think he did afterwards. I think that's why it's a joke.
Okay. All right, let's keep this a little cleaner.
Well, we didn't explain what happened.
This was your president, ladies and gentlemen. And then we had,
Yeah, it wasn't
never
mine.
mind.
I was alive.
You weren't. That's right. You weren't. You were
Well,
born.
97.
Yeah, he was your president for a year.
Okay, well, thank God I don't remember.
I think, right? He was like he had 2 terms from 92 all the way to 98.
I went to
Nope,
public
that's only 6 years.
So, to 2000, I guess that's.
Yeah,
I don't remember when it started, but I know I was
Yeah.
born during his presidency.
I went to public school. I don't know.
I'm not aware of things because of public school education.
Go Potneers.
Oh man, horrendous dating stories, dude. I was on a dating app for a total of like 3 weeks, and it was on and off. And there's a call feature on, like, you can call these people on the dating app.
Okay.
And I matched with some girl, and it was a Bumble, so like the girl has to make the first move. And so I'd matched with this girl, and I sent her a message. I was like, "Hey, how are you? Whatever." Like, I'm not one of those guys that like throws out the weird line of a funny pickup line to get there. Like, no, I'm right here. You matched with me. Let's have a conversation. And I gave her a call, like on it, because I prefer phone call. I hate text messages. Like, I'll send them, but I hate them. Like, I know like I call you rather than text you. I'll call you about the stupidest shit. You're like, you couldn't text this?
See, I'm the exact opposite. I despise calling people.
You couldn't text this, idiot. But I called her. She goes, and I swear, she answers the phone. She goes, "This is weird."
That was her line?
Yeah, that was. She's like, "This is weird." I go,
She
"What?"
answered?
Yeah.
She
I
couldn't
go,
have sent a
"What?
text?
I'm sorry, what's weird? And she was like, "Nobody's ever called me on the app before." And I go, "Then what's it there for?" She was like, "I don't know, but nobody fucking uses it." Those were her words, not being vulgar. And
It's
I was
okay,
like-
I'm quoting a movie. F you guys. That's just a quote.
so we were on the phone for like an hour and a half. Pleasantries. It was fun. It was fun. And I was like, so anyway, I go, so can I get your actual number, or is this, the only way I'm going to communicate? And she goes, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Oh, what? We just talked for an hour and a half. She goes, yeah. Well, good luck with things.
She left it on a good note.
Ouch. That's brutal.
Yeah.
She left it on a good note.
I guess that's.
Oh, that's pretty good.
She said good luck with things.
That's Southern Star Castring. That's pretty good, man. Yeah, somebody told Dan that it was an E.H. Taylor.
It was like a discount E.H. Taylor.
Bull snot. That is not E.H. Taylor.
I get like peanut brittle and
Yeah, it's good.
I think it's
not
very good.
E.H. Taylor. Very different flavors.
guy's an idiot.
Okay.
I'll tell you. Okay, I'll tell you a positive dating story.
All right.
So, I feel
You
like
got married.
I don't want. I don't want to take the floor. I don't want to be the only one talking. So please, guys, while I'm talking, think of different stories. But so my wife and I, right? So we were friends first.
Good start.
And I'll tell you actually the true story. So when I first met her, I was with a friend at a softball game, and she was there cheering on the other team. The same team I was cheering on, but I'd never met her before. And I sat on the bleachers, and I had this feeling that, like, I'm very observant, so I always like to look around wherever I am to make sure that nobody's threatening in any way or whatever, because I'm also very discerning. And so I can just kind of tell people, I can read people pretty well.
Yeah.
And so I took a scan around them, and I turned around and I saw her. And I turned to my friend, and I was like, and I was blown away. This is a true story. Blown away. Like, I'd never seen someone like that. Like, she just, I don't know. And I turned to my friend, and I go, who is that? And without skipping a beat, my friend goes, oh, yeah, that's so-and-so's boyfriend. I'd stay away. And I was like, damn it!
Wait, you mean that's
Just
so-and-so's
my
girlfriend?
Or that's so-and-so's girlfriend, sorry. Yes. And I was like, damn it. All right, fine. But I'd met her through it. It might have been a party that you and I were at, Joseph, that you and I had attended, because that's how I met you.
I met you, I thought, for the first time after you and Caitlin were married.
We met once at
we?
a party at the house that she lived in with the girls, and with her roommates, and we just met in passing.
Okay, I was going to say, I don't have a strong memory of that.
That's funny. My wife doesn't remember the first time we met either, and we met at the softball game that night. But anyway, but I remember seeing her at that party, and we kind of joked around and hit it off, whatever. And then some other things transpired, and I went to Ireland that fall. And there was one night I was out with my friends, so I went to Ireland with my two roommates, Seth and Elliot. And we went for like 10 days. And we end up in Galway. And I think it's Cork. And we were bar hopping. And it was like 1 in the. And we meet this guy named Niall, who is just plastered out of his mind. But he was really, like, he was, you could tell he'd been there a time or two. Because he was very, like, he was hype and he was ready to go, but he was also slurring his words a little bit, but he was still a gentleman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was like thick Irish accent. He's like, oh, that's right. So I was going to the bathroom to take a pee, and he comes in the bathroom, and there was only a urinal and a stall, and my friend Elliot was at the urinal, so I went to the stall. And I walk, and I hear this guy burst through the door, and he's like, fuck. The urinal's taken. And Elliot looks at him and is like, yeah, I'll be done in a minute, man. And he was like, take your time, it's fine. And he's like, and so he's like, so how do you come to Ireland? How you enjoying yourself? That sort of thing. And I walk out of the stall. He goes, holy fuck. He goes, I'd never want to find you in a back alley. I was like, how you doing? I'm Adam. And he was like, I'm Niall. Let me buy you a drink. And so he walks out, and he long story short, he wants to arm wrestle us. But then he looks at me and he refuses to arm wrestle me. So he arm wrestles the other two. The other two win, but I think he'd let them win because he was a large human. And he buys us drinks for the rest of the night. Like, he followed us around like 3 different bars, and he refused to let us buy him drinks. He spent like $200 on us, and he was carrying around this satchel. And we're like, what's in there? And he goes, oh, I'm an engineer. I created a battery for my bike so I don't have to feckin' pedal it all those places. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, I just attached it to my bike and it just goes for me. And we're like, you're carrying this around? He goes, yeah, I haven't figured out how to attach it to my bike yet. So he's carrying around a satchel with a battery in it, like a big honking thing. And he buys us a ton of drinks. And anyway, we go home that night. We had pictures with him. It was a fantastic night. And I kid you not, I get back to the hostel, and I'm lying in the bed, and my wife pops into my head. And I'd seen her maybe like twice before this. I don't know why. I can't explain why. But I messaged her on Facebook, and I just sent her a bunch of pictures of the day, like being in Ireland. And she messages back. She was like, oh my gosh, I did my mission year there when I was a junior in high school. I miss it so much. And we talked for like 2 hours. And we barely know each other. And so when I get back to the States, we start talking back and forth. And she, I had dated a friend of hers, and so she was skeptical. And she was like, I don't know. Not that she had heard bad things about me, but she was like, I don't want to ruin that friendship, whatever. We're back and forth. And so November rolls around. I go to New Orleans with my family because my uncle lives in New Orleans. And I walk into this shop, this clothing shop, and this girl just behind the counter just asked me for my number. And I was like, sure, I'm single, whatever. And we're talking for a little bit. And then I had this like weird thought, because I was like, I'm not going to do long distance. You live 12 hours away. I'm not going to do this, right? And it also turned out we do not match politically or thought-wise or anything. So like a week goes by, and I call, and Caitlin and I had been dancing around the idea of dating for months. And I called her, and I said, I'm done with this. And she goes, what, you don't want to like talk anymore? And I go, no. I'm done dancing around. And I said, what day do you have available this week? We're going out. And she's like, I can't. I got to grade papers. And I was like, we're going to hang out this week. Just pick a time. And she was like, okay. And I ended up going to her house, and because she was living with her parents at the time, but I ended up going to her. I met her dad. I met her mom. And it was like but it was one of those things where I was like, yeah, this is just the right thing to do. Like I felt like this was just, I need to stop dancing around it and do it. And now the rest is history.
I think there's a time and a place to just take the lead, especially when things, who was it? There's a great Catholic speaker. It'll come to me. But he's like,
Never heard of him.
he said, like, dating, he's like, it's a really weird state when someone says, oh, we're a thing. And he's like, a thing? A thing grows on your foot and should be cut off. Like, define it, men. And he's really calling men out, like, define your relationships. Don't be a thing.
Yeah, right.
What's that?
A tumor?
Or fungus, or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's ugly. It's like, define it. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. Like, don't be a thing. It's
Just next time you hear that, oh yeah, me and this girl, we're a thing. Yeah, you guys are kind of ugly.
I'll say. Yeah. But no, I think that there's a time and a place where you have to be assertive and define it.
Yeah.
You can still break up, but just don't be this lukewarm. Just kind of seeing how things go. No, like you can't always play it safe. You got to risk to get hurt to find out. I mean, I got hurt many times, and like leading up to when my wife and I finally started dating, and man, it was all worth it. In fact, I mean, one of our first dates, I remember I came home and I was like, and I didn't know that like she was just really shy, and it took her a while to like warm up and get comfortable. And I was like, Mom, I don't think this is going to work out. I don't think she likes me at all. She hardly said anything on that whole date. I'd ask her a question, and it was just like this, like, oh, well, yeah, I like that. It's just so timid. And, lo and behold, things turned out well. Yeah, they turned out well. But I think, so I've said this once before, that not everything should move quickly. And I think oftentimes that the things that it's like in nature, an animal that's born prematurely, it's usually ugly and it dies, it's weak. But if it grows to full maturity, that's when the beauty really comes through, the strength. And I think a relationship is a lot like that. It shouldn't just be this flash in the pan thing. I think it's good for both people if it takes a little bit of time and effort, and then it grows and blossoms into something beautiful.
Yeah.
But that takes discernment, and you
Yeah.
have to recognize when
Right.
to pull the trigger.
Right.
I hate to use the analogy of a hunter pulling the trigger,
Yeah.
but I mean, when it comes to making
It's
a
okay.
decision or taking an action,
Yeah.
like obviously you got to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
You got to sight in. You got to sight in the target, and you got to pull the triger.
Right.
But you also have to know when to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't really have a whole lot of. In fact, I can't really think of any good dating stories because I didn't. I mean, besides the one where the girl basically, walked away and I had to like convince her to come back. Like, no, I'm actually here.
Still waiting for parking.
Right. Most of the girls that I was interested in dated, it was someone it was a friend that I knew, and there was a proximity, and but dating was always with the intention of we're dating to find out if marriage is appropriate. Is this the end goal or the start to the next phase of the journey?
Right.
I can confidently say I never wasted my time or the woman's time in dating. I always gave 2 dates because I thought I think I'm sure there are exceptions, but I feel like most women deserve 2 dates. I just think that's respectful. Just for both of you, 2 dates, and then it's you gave it a fair shot. But then after that, it's like if there's just not this chemistry or this connection, don't waste each other's time.
Right.
And so, anyways, that was my philosophy, and it worked out well.
Is there any moments in your marriage or in any dating life or
In your what?
In your marriage. What do you think?
Oh,
I
it
said?
sounded like you put a D instead of a G in your marriage.
In your marriage. Is there any moments in your marriage that you remember or in your dating life where you were just like over the top smooth? Where you were just like, oh wow, that came out of nowhere, but it worked well. You know what I'm saying?
I had her over for a date.
Your wife, right?
Yeah. I had Jordan over, and I made us dinner, and I put together his playlist. And while the food was finishing cooking, we had 2 dances, and then the food was ready, and I led her to the table, and I lit the candles and served the food, and it was a very, very nice evening. We were watching Downton Abbey at the time, so then we watched, I think, 1 or 2 episodes, and then I don't remember now if I picked her up or if I drove her or if she came. I don't know. It doesn't matter. And then there was another time we were driving home how did it work? Anyways, we were in the car together, and this song is still very special to us, but I sang a song to her, and I made her cry. It was
You can sing?
No.
occasionally.
That's why she cried.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Oh, honey, it's so bad.
Oh my God.
I'm joking.
Oh my God, blood's coming out of my ear.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know. That was rude.
No, you're good.
She loved it.
It was a song from Sound of Music when Von Trapp is there in the gazebo. He and what's her name? What's her name? In the Sound of Music.
Never seen it.
Julie Andrews, but
Yeah.
I don't know her character's name.
That's it's leaving me. Anyways, but he sings to her. It's what's the name of that song? Something Good. I must have done something good. I don't know if I could sing it here. But anyways,
If it makes us cry, I'd try.
Listen, keep that to your wife.
anyway, so I sang that to Jordan, and yeah, she loved it.
Is that how the words went?
Perhaps I had a miserable youth,
Okay, see, now.
but somewhere in my wicked, miserable past,
He actually can sing. It's not bad.
I must
I don't have to put this out in your arm.
something good. Anyways, it's better with music.
Hey. I don't know if I can follow that.
Well, you're the crier. So
I'm more of a crooner. Like I sing
You're a
more.
what?
A crooner. It's
It's a type of singing.
yeah. It's how
Frank Sinatra sang.
Frank Sinatra. He was a little bit of more jazzy, but he definitely knew how to croon.
never heard of that.
Bill Cosby. He was like, the really
You mean
deep.
Bing Crosby?
Bing Crosby. Wow.
I was going to say pudding pops.
Whoa!
Yeah, my bad.
He sang and then gave him pudding pops.
I don't know what that reference means, but I think that all needs to be bleeped.
He did a commercial. He used pudding pops.
The audience
I'm
does.
But anyways, he was a crooner, and
Yeah,
I think that's my voice.
it was beautiful.
All right.
Well done.
Well, I appreciate
Not
that.
surprising at all. Just because how you were raised and how you honestly like after 12 or whatever, like how you raised yourself. You just the old movies and who you listen to and everything like that.
Yeah, it's pretty formative.
I'm thinking of a couple for Dan
What?
where you were just damn smooth and you told me about it and I was like, shit, that was real good, sir.
I've got some good moments.
Yeah, you've got some good moments.
I've got some pretty bad ones too.
Can we tell the Nobleton story?
Which one?
The keys? Can we please tell this story? It's
I don't-
so freaking smooth.
I don't care.
Like I consider myself a pretty smooth guy, and my wife will tell you the same. Like I'll come up with stuff, and she'll just be like, "Ooh, that could." So that because that's what we want to do as men. Is we want our your job as a guy is not only to pursue your wife for the rest of your life, but also make her take her breath away at times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, you still got some stuff in the bag, and I tell my wife all the time, I'm like, you ain't seen half my shit yet, good or bad.
Frank Sinatra says the best is yet to come.
That's right. That's right. But I want to tell it. So we're at Nobleton's. Can I please? Is that okay?
Yeah, if you want to tell, go ahead.
You're not going to tell it?
No, you said you want to tell it.
No,
Go ahead.
I
don't
said
care.
I want
Chime
you.
in, Dan.
Can we?
Yeah.
I don't
Collective.
So we're hanging out at Nobleton's one night, and it was their anniversary dinner. Or no, it was a Valentine's dinner.
It was. It happened to be Valentine's Day.
So they had a Valentine's dinner. Dan thankfully bought one of our plates. It was very kind of him. And so Caitlin and I spent Valentine's at Nobleton's and had fresh off the farm steak that Demetrius cooked that night, and steamed vegetables, and it was incredible. And this woman who go ahead, Dan.
So there was a girl there, and she worked
Making
there.
eyes.
See, I didn't see that part though.
I did.
But so he did, and so
Well, I'll tell my portion and you step in. Hold on. Okay. So I told her, I went to her and I was like, we need the tab. And she, this wasn't Valentine's. No, this wasn't Valentine's. This was the anniversary party.
that's right, because
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
a ton
Our
of other.
anniversary party?
No,
No.
his anniversary. So he had his anniversary party a few weeks after we had ours.
Oh, Demetrius.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, the
That
Nobleton's
one.
10th year anniversary.
I missed that.
So, and 1 year anniversary of the tasting room and all that. So anyway, so we're all hanging out as a group, and I asked this lovely young woman for our check, and she goes, "There ain't no way you're leaving." And I go, "Well, he drove, as in Dan. Dan drove, and so we got to go." And she goes, "Then you tell him to come over here because I got a few things to say." And I was like,
Wow, that's forward.
"Yes, ma'am." Or no, I believe I said, "Yeah, I know you do." And then I said, "I go, let's be honest. Out of the three of us, I know which one of us you don't want to leave." And then she said, "Then tell him to get his ass over here because I got something to say." I'm like, "All right." So then,
So I came over, and all of a sudden she looks at me and goes, "You're leaving me?" And so at first it caught me off guard, and I go, "What?" She goes, "You're leaving me," and she was like very, very clearly sad.
yeah,
And so I look over at Adam just to kind of like make sure I was hearing things right. And then I look over at her and I reach into my jacket, grab my keys, and without even looking at Adam, I hand them over to Adam. And I look while keeping eye contact with her, and I go, "Who the fuck said I was leaving?"
Wow. Are you guys talking?
just damn smooth.
We've been talking for a little bit, yeah.
Wow, you got to tell me more about this.
But
Just so smooth.
and then so later, she goes, "Yeah, you said we would have a shot of tequila." And so I was like, "Okay, yeah,
Tequila's
absolutely.
dangerous.
I ain't leaving without that." And so we have our shot, and she goes, well, when am I, because we had to leave because Adam had his kids, and so I was
Yeah,
like,
we gotta
I
get
do
back to
actually,
babysitter.
I do actually have to leave. And she goes, well, I'm not going to see you for like another 10 years. And I look at her and go, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have 10 years. And then she was like, well, when am I going to see you? And I go, well, give me your number and let me know when you're working. I'll come up.
Yep. And then the rest
Nice.
is history. Well, not history, just
Ongoing history.
ongoing, if,
Right.
ish,
Ever
if
evolving.
kinda, sorta. I don't know.
Time will
I
tell.
don't know.
Yeah.
Well, who does know? I want to talk to that guy. I want to talk to the.
You got to talk to the big guy.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. You got to talk to the
Well, just don't be a thing.
El
all right?
Papi Chulo. Yeah.
Don't be a thing. Don't,
Don't
be a growth.
Yeah, don't be a weird growth. All right. Define it. Damn it.
So what are you guys? We're kind of like a tumor.
Yeah.
Just kind of grew
We're
and now it's
there.
just there.
We're there. We're benign, so it doesn't really bug anybody.
Except the individual.
Right.
Unless any third wheel that's with us, then we're kind of buggy. But
Sounds like you need. Have you gone on a date yet? Why?
we don't need to air this out right here.
Well, maybe not. All right. Better take her out. Oh, shit. Don't waste her time.
Also, don't waste yours. Mm-hmm. We talked about this already. But it's also that feeling out. Because it's feeling out the atmosphere, it's feeling out how you feel, and it's also just, let's just be 100% honest, gentlemen, it is scary.
And fun.
It's terrifyingly fun. Mm-hmm. It's like,
Kind of like getting shot at.
It's fun. It's dangerous. It's exhilarating.
It's a thrill.
and if you walk away alive, you feel 110% all the time.
Listen.
I'm invincible, mostly because they missed.
Listen, all I'm going to say is there's a reason why a lot of combat vets want back.
Yeah, right. It's fun. It's exhilarating.
Yeah.
It's that piece of life that always keeps giving if you let it. I think.
Yes, I think.
No, it's the piece of life. Like even when you're married, like it's if you let it happen, and you let it be spontaneous, and you let it be like, you know what I'm gonna do, like when I'm like, so I'm the breadwinner. My wife stays home and cleans and cooks and takes care of the kids. Mm-hmm. And so when I say, hey, leave. What?
Leave the kids.
But
We can make more.
like, so she has she has some women's group where she'll hang out with friends, but she doesn't get it very often. And so, you know, the ways that I'll still surprise her is leave. And then while she's gone, I will take care of things so that she can, you know, feel comfortable just staying out as late as she
Yeah.
wants with friends. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, relax and
right. Like,
yeah.
and it still surprises the heck out of her, even though it's her favorite thing. Like, we'll sit down and watch our show at the end of the day because that's how we spend our time together. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I'll randomly, like, her favorite thing in the world is foot massages. But she's still surprised every time because she's terrified of asking. She's like, I don't want to sound needy, you know, whatever.
Rub my feet.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like, she didn't want to be that, you know, that old hag. And
The dogs need petting.
Dogs need. That's an image.
terrible. But she's still surprised.
Talk about my wife like that.
We're talking about
That
feet.
should have been my saying. Don't talk about my wife's feet that way. They don't bark.
They hiss.
No, that's actually something that my wife still doesn't believe. Like, her feet never
They hiss?
stink.
Oh.
She doesn't understand why. I'm like, you're never, ever. Even
What are you
like
just
after
sitting there going,
No, but like,
There's something to that though. Like my wife, even if she's been like working in the yard and she comes in sweaty from the garden, like she doesn't stink to me.
Yeah.
She might like I can objectively say, oh, you know,
smell like outside.
you smell.
Yeah.
But it like the sweat smells sweet, and it's weird. Like
It's
I think
very weird.
It is
'Cause it's
weird.
the same with me.
yeah, but it's just that chemistry.
Not that I smell your wife, but it's the same with my wife.
the fact that you,
good clarification.
why'd you clarify that?
No, I'm actually, I was a little confused.
But it has to do with the pheromones.
Yeah, I think so.
That, yeah. My one of my brothers, he shortly dated a girl. He's like, to be honest, she smelled like crazy. He's like, the chemistry was just not. That's what they mean by chemistry.
The pheromones weren't working.
They were not. Yeah.
Or if they were, it's not mine.
He's like, I'm sure I stink to her too, but
Michael?
I'm not saying any names, but one of my brothers just said the girl that he liked smelled to him. I was like, well, yeah. And I remember actually there was a girl that he liked at one point. This was, anyways, and I thought she smelled too. And every time she'd walk by, I would actually hold my breath.
Damn.
Dude, there are people like that.
Yeah.
But I think it has to do with your DNA in your nose and the pheromones. Everybody gives off their own smell. Like my wife loves my smell. Mm-hmm. Like she'll wear my shirts at night as like pajama shirts because she loves the smell of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's not my cologne. It's like
it's your essence.
It's me, right? And the same thing with like her feet, or like I don't mind. Like she just never smells bad to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but she's always surprised when like, and I'm gonna do it tonight too because she's taking care of the kids right now, and so like we'll sit down, and I'll rub her feet, and she'll be like, "Oh, really? Yes, of course. Like, why wouldn't I? You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's. Like, you shouldn't get offended at that. I used to. Mm-hmm. I used to be like, why would you think that I wouldn't want... Like, I'd get upset. Like, what kind of man do you think I am? But at the same time, it's like, no. Actually, you should keep her surprised like that.
Well, and I think, too, it's an invitation for you to keep pursuing her. Like, there's... my thought almost left me. What am I trying to say? The need to be needed is human.
Yes.
You know, and so, I mean... Jordan, I think, struggles to tell me what she needs, and I just keep lovingly tell her, Jordan, I want to know what you need. I want to know how I can serve you, because otherwise I'm just going to be guessing and making it up as I go.
Yeah.
And, and I might do pretty well with that, but I ask her, like, hey, what do you need tonight? Especially if she's had a rough day. What do you need? Because, I can come home from work, and I can be pretty flexible. I might have something I'd like to do, and there are some evenings that I'll come home and be like, I really could use a cigar tonight and just some quiet time. Would you be, are you okay with that?
Does she sit with you when you smoke?
When she's not pregnant, yes. But right now, the first couple of months, the nauseous stage, no. Like after I go home, I'll have to shower because I'm gonna stink up the bed. But no, I think it's kind of, for me, I take it as a fun little invitation to keep reassuring her. And it's a glimpse into her heart, whatever insecurity is there, I want to hear about it. I want to wrestle with it and, just reassure her. But, once you get married, I mean, the need to be pursued doesn't go away one bit.
No.
It might change a little bit. It does. It changes, it matures, but you still need to be pursued. That dating never stops.
That's what I was going to say. Once you get married, the dating shouldn't stop.
It just gets simpler because now you know who to date.
Well, and you schedule it together.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, you also live with her.
Right.
So it's kind of actually. So I've always been. Go what?
I was just going to say, or him, because I do think there should be a pursuing from both sides.
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
And Jordan does a good job of pursuing me and. And we pursue each other with, in our own strengths. Like Jordan, like she cooks really well, and it's sad that it's that this is looked down upon. But like, I really appreciate when I come home and there's a good home cooked meal.
Because it's not that you need it.
Well, and I mean there is a need though. Like we need that nourishment.
Yes, but at the same time,
but yes, could I go cook myself? Yes, I love to grill. Yes, I am capable of cooking my own food. But it is really loving of her to want to cook for me.
Yeah.
And it would be unloving of me to reject that.
Yeah.
Or to tell, or to deny her of that. Like that is one of her strengths, to do that. One of my strengths is to provide for her and to go to work.
I thought you were about to say to eat the meal.
That's a strength too. I'm really good at that.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what it feels like to eat a lot.
I don't know what it means.
No,
to
but
eat.
my wife's the same way, and she'll like, I'll come home sometimes, and she'll be like, I'm sorry. She'll call me before I get there, and she'll be like, I'm sorry. The kids were a lot today. I didn't get to the house, and I didn't get to dinner. What do you want? I'm like, you don't ever have to apologize. It's just icing on the cake that you're willing to do those things.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think it is nice to admit that, like, because sometimes I'll walk in, I'm kind of blindsided because I don't know what her day looked like, and I'll come in and it's like, wow, this is a lot to take in. Like the house is a mess, and the kitchen hasn't been touched. Like sometimes it's a lot to take in, and it does help because we are human. Communication is needed.
Key.
Yeah, it's key. It is nice. It is good to just have this understanding. Hey, it's not that I'm mad at you, but it's nice to know a little bit about what happened. The same for if I come home and I have, and I'm maybe not in a great mood. She also has a right to know why that is.
Yeah,
why.
absolutely.
And so it's not a bad thing. It's just open communication.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
I will say I would never admit this openly, really.
But here we go, world.
I was going to say, except here.
Except here, and we're going to air it live.
But I don't.
We're going to air it live.
I would never say this openly, but I'll say it in front of a camera.
But I don't do this well. I don't profess this well. But I'm actually I enjoy when people go above and beyond for me, and I think everyone does. But
Sure.
I've never professed that, and I've never had someone in my life that would do that. Aside from like my parents, of course, who go, have always gone above and beyond and support and whatever.
Yeah.
But it was my 32nd birthday, and it was the first, I guess it was going on the second year that Kayla and I were married, and I was sitting at the computer. And she had her profile on the computer pulled up, so all her tabs were open. And I saw Facebook Messenger, and I just saw a simple message from a buddy of mine that said, yeah, November 18th works. And I was like, what the hell is going on? And I got my suspicions. And, I notice everything. So it's insanely hard to surprise me with anything. And she planned it so perfect. Dude, she acted her ass off. I came to her with it, and I was like, hey, I saw this message. I don't want it to ruin anything, but are you doing a surprise party? And I kid you not, she starts getting teary-eyed. And she goes, honey, no, I don't have time. And are you gonna be upset if I don't do anything for your birthday? Like, she starts tearing up, and I was like, honey, no. I saw this thing, and I was just,
Sucker.
and she was like, no, I've been talking to him about maybe watching the kids so we can go, but I don't think it's gonna work out. And I was like, honey, it's okay. And that, I was like, over, done. I don't ever want to talk about this again because it made her cry and whatever. And a month later, on November 18th, my buddy just reached out and he's like, you want to hang out today? And because we used to hang out all the time anyway. I was like, yeah, sure. And we went, looking at guns, and we went to Chuck's Boots, because he said he had to go look at something. And I found a hat, and he bought me the hat. And he was like, happy early birthday. And he was like, let's, because the plan was, it was just the four of us, his wife, mine, and the two of us were going to go out to dinner.
Yeah.
And so we show up to this restaurant, and we get up to the front, and I was like, yeah, Caitlin and Amber are already here. And he goes, party for Adams. And the waitress is like, oh, you're like the big one in the back. Okay. And I go, no, it's just four. And she goes, all right, follow me. And I walk into a room, and it's 30 people. And she actually pulled off, surprising me.
That's awesome.
And I went over to her, and I hugged her, and I was like, this is one of the greatest things that has ever been done for me. And she goes, and she whispers in my ear, and she goes, I'm a really damn good actress. I was like,
great.
dude, I was thrown off completely.
That's great.
I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to make you cry. I didn't want to think about my birthday anymore.
Good for her.
Oh yeah, she pulled it. That was beautiful. And then she, of course, was like, "Don't expect this every year." I was like, I didn't expect this at all in my lifetime. This was fantastic."
My wife, she did that when we were engaged. She and my brother's wife threw.
I was there.
Yeah,
I
you guys
remember.
were both there. Threw a surprise 30th for us, and they were trying to throw us off as well. And so they had a friend of ours reach out and be like, so they told a friend of ours like, "Hey, get the boys to go shooting. That'll give us time to, work on this party." And so he messaged us, like, "Hey guys, I haven't seen you guys in so long. We should get together. Well, I was thinking we could go shooting." And Michael and I both just shot him down. We're like, "Nah, I think we're just gonna stay and have a quiet afternoon." And so he texted Elizabeth, and he's like, "I failed." They turned me down. But Michael and I ended up having this great afternoon. We'd gone to mass, and then he came over. So the plan was, as we were told, that we would kind of have a quiet afternoon. Elizabeth had some stuff to do. Jordan had some things that she had to do, and then we'd get back together and we would go out for dinner. And so, and before that, we were going to teach a swing class to some high schoolers at our parish, and we just have to do this thing real quick, and then we'll go out for dinner. So Michael and I, we had a nice quiet afternoon and made us some cocktails. We watched a John Wayne movie, and it was just so enjoyable and relaxing. And then Elizabeth showed up. So Elizabeth is Michael's wife. She showed up. She's like, "Hey, you guys ready to leave?" And so anyways, so we left. And on our way to the dance class, Michael and I are talking about how, hey, could we just kind of cut out early? We just really want to have a quiet dinner with you girls. And, the whole time just wanting to ditch this thing. And sure enough, we show up to the swing class, and it's our surprise birthday party. But they totally pulled it off. It was, yeah.
It was beautiful.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. And they invited.
I mean, we did end up dancing, but
Oh, there was dancing. Yes.
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And Dan and Grayson ended up being bartenders.
Yeah, you guys did a great job.
It was awesome.
Yeah, the girls put a lot into that.
It was a good time.
It was. That was
Yeah.
great. So,
Dan.
yeah.
As you sniff the mic like
Any
your
other,
wife's feet.
Your wife's feet.
Any other smooth stories? Any other dating uh-ohs?
Dating uh-ohs.
I'll be honest, the only uh-oh that I can think of is one of my exes, our first date, took her to a Blues game. Ended up driving down the wrong, driving on the, so downtown St. Louis has a bunch of one-way streets.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
kinda like New York,
I had
yeah.
a hard time finding parking as well. And so I ended up for probably a good block or two, drove the wrong way on a one-way street. And she was in the car, and she was like, "Dan, this is the wrong way." And I go, "I know, but I'll get off just in time." Sure enough, it did. We didn't get into a wreck, but the cars were definitely coming our way, and all 5 lanes were coming our way. I found the parking though. We had the Blues game. We ended up, I think it was Columbus. We ended up destroying them. It was like 6-1. It was great.
Hopefully they keep on that tear now. Mm-hmm. Although, as this is being recorded, they're 9-0 in their last 10 games, so or 9-1 in the last 10 games. So
They're doing very well.
Well, they play the Red Wings tonight.
Yeah, they're playing right now.
They should be beating them because the Red Wings are nothing to write home about. We're both checking right now, by the way.
So the moral of all these stories is always pursue your wife. Stay in the moment. Don't get distracted. Right, guys?
No, they play tomorrow.
Who are you?
Oh, I do good. Yeah.
They play tomorrow.
Rude.
Got you so bad you stuttered.
You.
That dude thinks and stutters.
Huh?
That's one of Ethan's greatest sayings. Remember that night when he was like, "That dude's so slow he thinks when he stutters when he thinks."
Yeah.
Oh, gentlemen, I have such a blast. I hope everybody listening does as well. Thank you so much for joining us at this table. We have
Joseph.
Adam.
Dan.
We'll see you next time.
Suckers.